This is the color palette that I used, which for the ballet dancer, which is the one I told you that I picked up from Johnny Lilydall for Sarah. And the colors that I do have on my palette are black, dioxazine purple or deep purple, ultramarine blue or French ultramarine blue, phthalo green, cadmium red hue, and deep rose, which I made using alizarin crimson, phthalo green, which is different from the other phthalo, yellow ochre, and of course I listed them in the order of the biggest amount you would use, the largest amount, which would be alizarin crimson, half of that phthalo green, and a small amount of yellow ochre. And I also added Indian yellow. If you cannot find Indian yellow, what you can do is, I made my own and I use cadmium yellow light with a small amount of cadmium red. Following color is cadmium yellow light and white. These are the colors that go around your palette. Now I also mixed two values of gray, and the first one would be a gray value gray value 5, which is a dark gray, almost black, and that is white plus a large amount of black, about half. And then the next one is the gray value 8, which is the light gray, almost like a baby blue, and that is largest amount of white with a small amount of black to give you that light gray. And we're getting into our flesh tones. Flesh tone number 1, which is the highlight of the flesh. I went ahead to make the colors I used to make this was white plus deep rose plus gray value 8. As I mentioned earlier, the largest amounts that you will be using to mix the colors, it goes from the largest, which is the first color, to the least amount, which is the last. Flesh number 2 is a light flesh, which is white plus deep rose plus gray with number 5. The cool light flesh is the number 2 that you mixed, which is the warm light flesh tone plus deep rose and yellow ochre. The number 4 is white plus deep rose plus yellow ochre plus alizarin crimson and a little bit of French ultramarine blue or ultramarine blue. Our flesh number 5 is a gray value 5 plus deep rose, yellow ochre, and the alizarin crimson and French ultramarine blue or ultramarine blue. And our last flesh is, this is the darkest shadow that you will use. This is the deep rose plus deep purple or dioxazine purple and ultramarine blue or French ultramarine blue. As I had mentioned earlier, I list them in the order of the largest amount you will be using. The last color listed to mix is always the smallest amount. I hope this helps. Thank you.